Welcome back from that. It's time to get to that interview. And like I said earlier, we have Right Honorable Rikki Nwajiofor, a youth advocate, and he will be telling us what political alignment towards 2027 really means to him. Thank you so much again for staying with us here on Joy Asonye Live.
It's a pleasure being with you, Joy.
Honorable Rikki, I mean, we've been recording, like the media tags it, gale of defection, and it seems like it's all towards APC. And in the same vein, we have been hearing former Vice President and candidate of the PDP during the past elections, Atiku Abubakar, talking about a coalition, and it seems to also be garnering support for that. What do you make of all this, especially because elections are still 2 years away?
Anyway, 2 years is not much. Let me start from your last statement.
For a politician like you?
Yes. Somebody like President Ashwaju started his premonition to become a president some 30 years ago. Even by the time he was governor of Lagos State, he already knows the idea of becoming the president. He started working for it. So say that 2 years is early enough for political adjustment and realignment is not early enough. However, political realignment is all about making a political choice. Okay, I was in this party. The tenets of the party, the ideology is no more something that is comfortable with me. I think I have to adjust. Or probably I've seen a better ideology of another party. Let me align with them, since whatever they have on board right now aligns with my ideology for the country or for my interest. Everybody should know that politics is all about one, interest. Interest is broad. Interest, personal interest, national interest, and then universal interest. Personal interest, first of all, to satisfy my cravings of being there as a politician, either to serve my people or to make my name heard. Some people enter into politics just to make their names heard.
Absolutely.
Because they already have the money. They're not there to acquire, even though the love of money, the love of 10 naira lies in 20 naira. Exactly. Money can never be enough.
Right.
Yeah, but some people already made their money before entering into politics. There's some people are into politics to make money also. Some want their names to be heard. But some, a few, majority, enter into politics to proffer services, to give to the nation, give back to the society what they think that will mean well for the nation to build our country.
Okay, so let's get down into business. I mean, you just mentioned something very important, ideology, which you also married to personal interest, interest that would further your ambition as well. How does that tally in other clans? If you're left wing or right wing, it affects everything. The way you your beliefs in certain aspects of life. But here it seems like when we say ideology, it's a whole new concept that I would like you to explain. Because how can you have been in the APC, the SDP, and then you now decide it's the PDP that works for you, and you ask yourself, these are supposed to be political parties that have diverse thinking as to how to deliver dividends of democracy. So how are your alignments affecting your interests and then your ideology as well?
First of all, you may need to know that the other claims you mentioned, where if you're a leftist or rightist, you stick to it. Everything about it forms your behavior and your political thinking, and you tilt towards whatever your own political wing believes in. Those countries you talk about have their democracy for years, 100 years running. They have gotten it right. We have our democracy. Our independence is barely 60-something years, truncated by military rule from time to time. We just celebrated how many years of uninterrupted democracy. 20-something years. So we are still like a baby. And a baby will always take a birth only on the stomach. That is just an analogy of an African person. When you give a baby bathing water, the first place the baby bathes is just the stomach, around the stomach. But the fact remains that you need to bathe from the head to toe. I'm not justifying the fact that some people are actually getting it wrong, jumping from one political party to another. Such persons we call them political prostitutes. They don't stay one place. They are just there to serve their interest.
Okay.
If the interest is not served in a particular political party, they jump over to the other one just to serve their ego and serve their interest. We're not talking about such persons.
Who are we talking about when they are this? I mean, it's almost expected during elections or in preparation to elections to have defections. Political parties even pride themselves on how many people have defected to their political party, and these are supposed to be really strong. strong.
No, you talked about coalition and alignment, people forming a coalition, a strong coalition to unseat the
in the bid to unseat
the president, our working president, indefatigable working president. The fact remains that some people like Atiku, who would always be here and be there and be the other side. In normal parlance, when I'm discussing, I don't like mentioning names unless when there is excess need. There is no need for you. For example, I think it was in APC. It was in PDP to APC, back to PDP, SDP. I made mention of some people jumping from one political party to another just to serve their interest, as long as their interest is not protected or served. Personal interest, not the interest of the nation, not the interest of the masses. As long as their interest is not served in a particular political party, they jump over to the other political party. Such persons are not worthy to hold political posts in Nigeria because they don't have the interest of the masses at heart. For example, our president, Asiwaju, has been in AD. They went to CPC or something like that. What was the acronym of that political party? And then, when they formed that measures to be APC, he told the same line. He didn't jump from one political party to another. He has been nursing the vision of becoming the president. You get it? He's not the kind of person that it must be me. It must be me.
But that's the one statement that is attributed to him.
No, he didn't say it must be me. He said it is my turn. He didn't say it must be me.
In many ways, a lot of people translated that statement.
Of course, people.
It is my turn. It has to be me.
No,
almost implying that it must be me.
No, people in their own way to justify some things will just translate whatever it suits them. But then the fact that he said it is my turn to be president for this party. Because at this stage, if I am not the president, my vision for Nigeria will never be accomplished. He is nearing towards his becoming octogenarian. And then if he doesn't fulfill that vision at that particular time, it will never be his turn again.
Maybe, but we've seen a lot of people leave through younger candidates. But let's not talk. That would be digressing from the conversation right now. A lot of Nigerians watching this alignment and consultations are asking if the leaders are putting that much effort into solving the fundamental issues we face, which cuts across many. There's economic challenges that we face. There are so many challenges that we face. What would be your thoughts?
Of course, like I said, so many people come in the name of being leaders to serve, but they are serving their personal pockets.
Absolutely.
Personal aggrandizement here and there. What I hold against most of our political office holders is the fact that they don't have the interests of the masses at heart. A few of them do, but then the fact remains that when the majority are not doing well, it seems that the fraction that are doing well are not actually doing anything. It's just like a drop of water in the ocean. But then there are still few who are actually doing well. Our president, for example, he came in from a background, having been involved in oil exportation and other things. He worked in Oando. He worked, I think he's in Mobile also. Now, having worked there, he knows much about the scam involved in subsidy. Somebody who got prepared, he knew that this subsidy is killing my country. This subsidy is a scam. One of my friends, he's late now, may he rest in peace, who worked in NNPC. He was among those whose job was to measure the vessel that bring in petroleum. You measure and then write the amount, how many thousands of liters. He told me that so many people will bring in empty vessel and then give bribe to declare that they brought in thousands of liters and they will collect subsidy. Some will bring in the vessels. They will collect the subsidy and channel the vessels outside Nigeria and go and resell it there. So president knew that there was heavy scam in subsidy stuff. On the day of his swearing in and taking over, he abolished subsidy. Even though some people may argue the fact that you wouldn't have abolished it immediately without putting some things in place. But then
is that something you also believe?
Yeah, if I were to advise, but then you see somebody in the holy book who have Peter. Peter was the bedrock of the apostles. Okay. But the Bible describes Peter as impetuous, somebody who wants to do something he can do. Now, something that is right, he feels is right, it needs to be done in the interest of the people, not for his personal interest. He came in with that zeal that this must be done for my people. That was the zeal. But then if I were to advise before now, probably I would have put in a modular refinery first and then put some things in place before removing the subsidy. But then he felt that this scam has gone so deep. If I allow it into my regime, to remove it may be too hard. Let me hit it on the nail right now. Because if we had allowed it probably 6 months into his regime, removing it will constitute a problem in the country.
Oh, I agree with you. And some of us actually supported the removal of your subsidy.
So I am in support of full.
Exactly. You're not saying anything that a lot of people do not know. The corruption was really
huge
around that concept. But it brought attendant economic challenges that a lot of Nigerians have not been able to grapple with, even at this point, 2 years down the line. Would you say that at this point where we have a soaring inflation, purchasing power of an average Nigerian very low, there's a recent report also telling you how bad the poverty line has become. Almost all of us are poor. Now, I don't want to spotlight only the bad things happening.
Yeah, no.
But I want to also say,
is
it, the question I'm asking is it insensitive for the government and for you too to be pulling and aligning and coming together for 2027 leadership when we have fundamental issues that haven't been addressed today?
All right. When you have a foundation that is faulty and you've been building on top of that foundation, your target is to have a skyscraper. You want to have like a 30-story building.
You know, go chop first.
No. For example, when you have a target of 30-story building,
right,
and you started the building with a faulty foundation, and you've gotten to 7, to 8, to even to 15, and then somebody is advising you to continue building, and a visionary leader comes in and tells you, no, if I continue to raise this building higher, something will happen someday.
Which will be better.
Probably if it gets to 20th story, it will all collapse.
Remember that your president,
and then he said,
president.
no, let me just finish this analogy. And then he said, it is better at this point, we've gotten even to 6th to 10th story building. Please, let's pull it down and do a good foundation,
right,
and build better, so that even if we had target of 30-story building, let's even target 50-story building. With this good foundation, we can get to 100-story building. That is what Tinubu did.
That's what he's doing.
He came in and said there are some economic reformations that must be done. It's about pulling the foundation down, pulling the building down. Let's get to the foundation. For example, they were doing forest subsidy also, just to cover up. Naira and dollar was 300 and something, but they were paying subsidy for forest.
Okay.
He allowed it to float.
Floats the dollar, right?
Instead, because that was just cosmetic coverage. The wound is inside, going deep.
Right.
And you're covering it.
Right.
So he opened the wound.
We also knew that was a good economic move, but it was it not too premature?
It wasn't,
because we needed to boost internal production.
No,
first.
Do you know why it is not? Do you know why it is not?
Don't you think that again was another rushed policy?
No.
One that he could have also realized when the hardship is as bad as it is, and nothing has been boosted.
Let me even tell you. When you say the hardship is as bad as this, sometimes I used to say it publicly, and even most times, that we ourselves, the led, were wicked. Most of the citizens were wicked. I'll give you an example. They brought in CNG gas. They gave transporters, huge subsidy. Take your car, go and do subsidy. Both guys, we are giving CNG at highly subsidized rate.
That's the conversion kit.
Conversion kit. And when you do that, it means you are getting your CNG, you're getting the gas at minimal rate. The rate of transportation should be so minimal.
That's like the that's one of these initiatives we wanted.
No, it started happening. Unfortunately, most of these guys will go and convert, buy the gas low, still charge you the high rate of those who didn't convert. Is it not wickedness?
It is. But
if collected subsidy from the government,
when we keep talking about this, there are mechanisms that curbs this, and if the government understands that people will want to be smart, there are things you should put in place, and not rather.
For example, what can they put in place?
For example, if you ensure that not just a certain group of people can pay, I would ask you right now, if this president had removed fuel subsidy, use that subsidy rather to have some mortgage plan, some pay small plan, import massively conversion kits.
Let me hold you there.
No, you cannot hold me yet. Convert these conversion kits into the country. You and I, civil servants, even if it's civil servants, even if it's those who are in formal structured organizations, have opportunities to say, let me pay 10% and then spread it, because you have my bank account, you have my BVN, you have my NIN, you have all sorts. But I do not pay out of pocket. It's more than ¡1 million naira as we speak.
Do you know that?
Wouldn't that have been more impactful? I will not need to come and meet you to come and buy it in a higher level. Everyone would have to go
now.
Let me be transparent.
Yeah,
and above that,
yeah.
If this is happening, this fraud that you just exposed now is happening, and you petition, it's because I don't trust the police. I don't trust law enforcement.
No, let's not digress.
So
don't go to police and law enforcement. It's a very long. But let me tell you right now that you said they would have done it with even the civil servant. Now, when you start, you must start from somewhere. It is glaringly clear that transportation is the chain.
It energizes.
It's the chain.
Economic activities.
It connects.
Absolutely.
If the cost of transporting goods are higher,
it affects
they will be
goods,
costly.
Exactly.
If cost of transporting even services,
it reflects everywhere. So where are you going with this?
He started with that engine, which is cost of transportation.
How did he start?
Let me tell you, that's what he said. All the transporters go and convert your CNG at reduced price. Subsidized.
No, it was a certain number. I'm not sure.
It
was just a certain number.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No, let me tell you. It was a free ticket to all, as long as you have a public transportation car. Both the boats guys, buses, go and convert. It was even preached.
Some people advertised it even
and some people,
in the media.
Some people refuse to do that. Now, if people are ready to build this nation, for example, 70-80% of transporters, if they are taking their cars to be converted and be using CNG, and then patriotically reduce their transport fare, because like I just mentioned here, most people converted and still collect the normal amount of those who didn't convert. If they patriotically reduce their transport fare, it wouldn't have affected the cost of goods in the market, because the cost of goods are still high. Let me also tell you, when there was a subsidy in products, especially in rice, there was a time rice was flooded into the market and they were giving some subsidies. Some people bought the rice, went back to the market, resold it at higher price. There was that rice that was sold to civil servants.
I remember.
I went there. You will see queue. But the endemic corruption in civil services even was the one that is in police.
So what happened when you got there?
You saw people that on daily basis they come to buy the rice. I am not. But I am a civil society person. I need to monitor the things that happen in my country.
I thought you were trying to get.
No, I didn't get. I didn't get it to get. I wanted to check whether it is actually happening. Because there are so many.
It was actually alleged that some civil servants, in fact, they agreed.
It was not an allegation. I probed. I saw.
Right.
Some people will go and buy 2, 3, including some people, directors who we are in charge also. They will lobby and put some names, family members' names. They will all come buy. Some were getting 10, 15, 20 bags. They will go back to market and resell it at 80 something thousand.
Right,
who is to blame at that point?
Right, Honorable Rikki. There's so much we have to discuss, and I don't want us to dwell too much on this. Recently, the Coalition of Southern Nigeria Youth Groups for Asiwaju 2027 inaugurated, or rather unveiled itself earlier today, actually. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right, Honorable Rikki Nwajiofor. He is a youth advocate and the executive director of the Coalition of Southern Nigeria Youth Groups for Asiwaju 2027. Today, that group was inaugurated, and we'll get into how that is aligning towards 2027, what Nigerian youth, especially the southern part of Nigeria, will be expecting, what he hopes to do in support of Asiwaju right there. Thank you again for staying with us. At some point, I won't be surprised if you want to stand up and leave.
Why? Why would I stand up and leave?
But it's good to still have you here.
Yeah.
I would like you to get to what this coalition is about.
All right, the Coalition of Southern Nigeria Youth Groups for Asiwaju 2027, codenamed Kosoniga 2027. It's a conglomerate of youth organizations at the grassroots, nationally known youth organizations, and then ethnic youth organizations in the southern Nigerian states. We came together and decided to forge an alliance, form a coalition to lend our support to our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Most of us, it might interest you to know that some of our members are not APC card-carrying members.
But they are ones that support this president.
They just want to support Mr. President. Some of them are supporting their governors in their states that are PDP and Labour Party. But with Asiwaju, they said, we want to give him our backing. Reason is very simple.
You know, this is a new concept for us. I mean, I know a lot of politicians would do that in the back before now, but 2023 really exposed us to this peculiar support system where you can brazenly say, you know what, I don't support my governor, but I support the president. I support the president, but I don't support my governor, which would have been considered anti-party before now. I always make reference to Soludo, for instance, the governor of Anambra State, who tells you, I support the president for elections. And during the 2023 general elections, he did not hide his support for the president. Peter Obi of the Labour Party as well went to certain states and endorsed the candidacy of a different state, even though his political party had fielded candidates in that party. Cross River State being one. And I was surprised. I like, Oga, what are you doing? What manner of antipathy is this? The Minister of FCT is another, who was brazen about his support for Asiwaju, even though he's of the PDP, and many more instances like this. So I want to understand this peculiarity of democracy that we are experiencing these days.
Around 2021, 2020, 2022, immediately after the COVID saga, we started preaching at the civil society level and at youth council level. It might interest you to know that as an ESCO member, a member of National Executive Council of National Youth Council of Nigeria, we've been trying to sensitize our youth that this nation belongs to us, that it is time, high time we took the bull by the horn and take charge of the affairs of the nation by aligning politically, participating in all the political processes, voting and bringing ourselves to be voted for, and then educating, sensitizing our fellow youth at the grassroots on the importance of being politically inclined.
Right.
Man is a political animal. When I mean man, I'm not just saying about a man who is a man. I mean
I'm a feminist, but believe me, I got what you're saying.
So now we are political animals. We are meant to be affiliated politically. We are meant to activate our political characteristics that are innate in us. We've been preaching that for the sake of this beloved nation, let's forget the idea of sticking 100% to party this, party that. Truth be told, most of the parties have actually failed Nigeria, because at the primary election level, they will do their abracadabra and field wrong candidates that you'll be left in between the devil and the red blue sea. or the blue sea, the
Mm,
deep
the
blue
deep
sea,
blue sea.
and then if you say, should we vote this? Okay, let's manage this one. That we've gone past the stage of let's manage this one.
Okay.
That the preaching we've been doing, which I'm happy it manifested in 2023 and is going deep right now, is going more glaring right now, is if you see the right candidate, vote for the right candidate. And that's why we've been supporting the motion that motion should be moved at National Assembly, the independency of a candidate, the independent candidacy, that it should be moved and be passed and endorsed as a law. That you as a person, without belonging to a political party, if you're credible enough, you can come out and contest. And people will vote for you based on your credibility, based on your passion to ensure that Nigeria is a better country. So people are now aligning and realigning on the fact that it is not all about my party. It is about our nation. Can this person handle the affairs of our nation very well? Can this person handle the affairs of our state very well? So this is the essence. The Southern Nigerian Youth Group came together and said, we are standing behind, throwing our weight behind Asiwaju, that he should be allowed to take a second term in 2027 because he has started some reformations that are like hard nuts to crack. But it takes only somebody who is a strong-hearted politician, who has no godfather. He doesn't have a godfather. Whose godfather cannot call
his godfather
so,
himself.
yeah, so it takes, in fact,
of course.
his emergence as a president is divine. That at this point in time in Nigeria, we need somebody who doesn't have a godfather to lead us.
Right. Okay. So let's go to youth mobilization, because that is basically what
Yeah.
it is.
Why
right?
we are mobilizing is we are asking our fellow youths in the southern Nigerian parts, for a start, please key in and support our president. If you don't support the president, if you work against the president to fail, Nigeria has failed, and we all have failed. Who is suffering it? All of us.
Okay.
If you support the president to succeed, Nigeria succeeds. Nigeria succeeds, and all of us will succeed. So we are throwing our weight. We are galvanizing the youth. We are sensitizing. In the next few weeks and few months, we'll be engaging in grassroots sensitization,
Okay.
asking people the need to get their PVC. But not just to get their PVC, because it has come to the notice of those of us at the civil society level that so many people acquire their PVC when we campaign for it, but they never made use of it except for when you are told to bring a mode of identification. They bring up their
it's
PVC.
Unfortunate. Look at the election result. Only 26.7% of Nigerians actually went out to actually vote.
And then it took some people. It took some people. It took some people.
In spite of the, I mean, remember
stress to get PVC.
Remember what we had to do in sensitization
to ensure that people get their PVC.
Not just got their PVC. The awareness around participation.
That's what I'm saying.
In the electoral process.
That's the awareness. Get your PVC. Go and vote. The essence of PVC is not for mode of identification. You have your name.
But would
PVC
you blame
is just
Nigerians?
Now, why we didn't blame Nigerians or wouldn't blame Nigerians? The fact that there is need for electoral reforms. We are still pushing it at the civil society level. Need for electoral reforms in the sense that you can vote from anywhere. Number one. Number two. Let collation be done electronically. Okay. Collation, instant collation. As people are voting, you are watching it online. Let it not be tampered with. It gives the people the credence. It gives the people also the courage to know that my vote counts. But then so many people will say, no, I don't want to go and vote. My vote will not count. It's a lie. I've said this. This is, you know, in propaganda, there are some half-truths you need to sell out so that to discourage some people and then to win your war. When you begin to do a propaganda that your vote doesn't count, don't worry. We are giving a leeway for some other people to actually rig.
Exactly. So if you go and
but if you go en masse and vote, it will be too difficult to rig.
Right.
So our votes will count if we come out en masse. I believe that Nigerians in 2027, with the kind of momentum we have now, we are pushing and we are extending hands of friendship to our brothers in the north. We have our colleagues in the north, that we all partner to ensure that we sensitize our people to come and vote. Imagine Nigerian youths having a statistics of over 100 and something million Nigerian youths, and on daily basis and at every hour we are getting 1 or 2 persons turning into youth, getting to 18 years.
Exactly.
Which means we are increasing in number.
Exactly.
This is our strength. It shouldn't be seen as something that should be worried about. No, it should be seen as a strength. Now with this strength, imagine that we have 50% of us go out to vote and vote for the right choice or for our choice, we'll get it right. Forget the other 50.
So why should the southern youth listen to you?
Why you should listen to me is the fact number one.
Remember, I'm based on the precedents we have established discussing security challenges, heightened youth unemployment.
Exactly. That's why I want to tell you why they should listen to me.
So that you have basis.
Of course I do.
Okay.
I do.
40%,
Yeah.
40% inflation hitting the roof.
Exactly.
And all of that.
Why they should listen to me, number one, is I made an analogy of somebody who has been contracted somehow to build 30-story building, and he started on a 40 foundation, a foundation that cannot even carry 7-story building, and has a target of building to 30-story building. And the visionary leader comes in and says, no, this foundation is too 40. If we get to the 10th story, it will collapse and all our efforts will be in futility. Let's demolish right now that we are still at this level, and let's build a good foundation. And that is what Asiwaju is doing. His political reforms should encourage us to support him. It cannot take a simple of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to entrench a good political reform or good political reforms that will rechannel our nation to prosperity. It can never.
But that's not what he told us.
What did he say?
No, he made us seem like, you know what, we are going to let the poor breathe. It's a teething period very, very, very soon. He even got to tell us that it's like a pregnant woman.
In labor of 9 months.
In labor of 9 months.
Do you know that so many people have sabotaged the efforts of Mr. President?
Everything pointing
But I made a mention of it here, of the sabotage.
So now I'm asking you, you're going back to what the president has said over and over. Nigerians are looking at themselves. They still cannot afford basic staple food. This is something they had been able to, at least it wasn't perfect, but it hasn't been this bad. And you're looking at them straight in the eyes to say, you know what, we are not only trying to build a story building, we want to go skyscraper.
Yes, but
and
we need
now
to
enjoy when we now have skyscraper.
No, not just when we have it. You will now enjoy when we have a strong foundation. The foundation is shaky. Right. It was cosmetic. The wound inside was rotten, and they were plastering it. The past presidents were just plastering it, trying to do camouflage. The past administration was so bad. I used to tell people it is not because, as APC, good. The past administration, even though it was APC, was so bad that the foundation got much shaken than it was. And then somebody cannot come in, a visionary leader, somebody who is not visionary could have come in, started building on top of that foundation. Probably after the 4 years he will leave, and another person will come in, and then the whole building will collapse. But a visionary leader came in and said, no, I cannot build not even one block on top of this building. I need to demolish. I need to start a good foundation for posterity's sake. Who is he doing it for? He's doing it for we, the youth. He's doing it also for the children. Right. Posterity. That in the next 20, 30 years, 40 years, we'll have a country that is called Nigeria, where students don't pay school fees anymore. That when you want to pay school fees, even if you don't have money, you can go to school, higher institution, study, under loan, and then graduate. When you start working, you pay back. He started it, student loan. That is the kind of country he wants to put us back to. It used to be there before, where as a student, you can go to school, you have your lunch, you have everything. He has started student loan. He's also doing it. Nigerian Youth Investment Fund. He initiated it. The fact is that some people don't believe in some government policies because scams are everywhere. I was among those who, when they did COVID-19 loan, right, I sensitized people to key into it that it was real. So many of my southern brothers and sisters were saying, no, it's scam. Some people were saying, no, we'll just fill it. They will just give it to the persons they want. But it wasn't it. Eventually, about 50-something persons I tried to help to fill it got their loans.
They did?
They did.
You didn't think you could reach me?
I Joy, you don't need a loan.
Actually, it was some of the things were drumming in the media space.
No,
the
fact is that some
and you're right.
policies,
It was received with what, like you put it, skepticism. It's unfortunate that has not ended. People are very skeptical about
so many things. No, but what we also telling the appointees of Mr. President that there is need for them to drum to the grassroots and sensitize the grassroots. Any policy, any good policy, and any initiative that Mr. President brings up, there is need for media for them to hype it up and sensitize people and teach people about it in media so that people can decipher the difference between that and scam. And then there is this Nigerian Youth Investment Fund. It is domiciled at the Federal Ministry of Youth Development. For the first time in the history of Nigeria,
has that fund been funded?
Of course.
Let me start. Because I know initiatives of the
let me tell you, I am a beneficiary.
Oh, okay.
It has been funded. I don't say things that are not factual.
Okay, so
I'm also telling you that for the first time in life,
we really need to move on because
we're moving very fast.
Yeah, you're talking about being a beneficiary. Yeah. After the show, I would corner you to see how I can get from you the beneficiary. But let's wrap this up with what you hope that Kosoniga would be. This coalition. What's your hope?
This coalition.
Come 2020.
Yeah, this coalition is like a vehicle. We've brought ourselves out as vehicles that will convey the good efforts of Mr. President, the policies, the interventions he's making. We want to convey it to the grassroots and enlighten our fellow youth at the grassroots that these are not scams, that people like you who don't have a godfather, who don't have a godmother can benefit in so and so. Because it used to be, allow it for those that people with the government they benefit, that people that children they benefit. It's a lie. The Nigerian Youth Investment Fund, I made some people key in. About 5 persons got it through me. It happened. It's all about let your credentials be as correct as everything. You must be sincere in your credentials and your filling of forms. Most of us are too also, what will I use that fact? We are too corrupt that even filling of forms.
You lie about
it. Without knowing that some of these things are verified by computer.
Right.
And then when it is done, you'll be found guilty somewhere. It can't reach you. And if you are, now them, they have given it to their people.
Start faulting the process.
Yes. So the Kosoniga is a vehicle.
Have there also been instances where you put all your efforts and
there have been instances. I said it here that the corruption and corrupt practices in civil service is endemic. It's stenching. In fact, civil service needs to be overhauled.
That's another conversation.
If I tell you my experiences when you go to offices, and
I wish I had time to discuss more, but we really have run out of time.
The civil service is actually most of the civil servants. They're actually making the words of Mr. President so hard. Some of the interventions are not accessible by common Nigerians all the time because of the corruption of the civil service. Right,
Honorable Rikki Nwajiofor, youth advocate, and the ED Kosoniga. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
It's my pleasure.
It's been a very electric conversation.
It's my pleasure.
As it always is.
It's always been this way.
So this is where we draw the curtains on Joy Asonye Live this